Hey, Tom here, FlipAnythingUSA. So I've got a couple of my buddies here that are from my jiu-jitsu class. Got Matt and Tony, and I've been in this jiu-jitsu with these guys for about 2 years now, and they're way advanced compared to me. But they know I'm in real estate, and so we've been talking about it, and so they asked me to show them around a little bit and talk to them a little bit about what I do, and so that's what we're doing. And let's see if that light helps. So anyways, let's start talking. What primarily do you guys want to know?
Well,
what interests you?
I'm an open book at this point. Obviously want to start with smaller properties, maybe a rental, one family type situation. No, nothing multifamily yet. A little bit of experience in auctions, but mainly in the Houston area, nothing here. Just kind of want to ride around, Tom, and just see what questions come up, what you look for. Your zip codes, what do you look for to get you into an area?
Okay, and that's all great stuff.
Okay.
So single family homes is where you want to start, play with. Okay. We can talk about other stuff too, because commercial is too, and sometimes my whole philosophy is there are no bad properties. It doesn't matter what you buy, there's just bad deals. And so the most important thing is that you buy something right. And like one of the safest ways to invest is to buy like single family homes, but not $500,000 single family homes, because there's economies of scale in as much as when you buy something cheap, and I don't want to mean cheap because there's guys that buy homes for $12,000, $30,000 in Detroit, and, East Texas, and the problem with buying something $12,000 or $30,000, $40,000 is that that's all those houses are worth, even the nice ones in the neighborhood. So if you need a new kitchen, the kitchen's going to cost you as much as the house is worth. So what I look for is, I like stuff that's as nice as it can already be. I like it to be move-in ready, ideally. Now, we're all in a neighborhood here where we would be lucky to find something under $200,000. So, and right, this neighborhood even more so. In fact, I'll show you some houses here. We'll take a quick ride by. But so the other thing is people will pay $1,000 a month for a house that costs $60,000 to say $120,000. But when you get to $200,000, then you're looking at maybe $1,600 to $1,800 a month. Then you get to $250,000, then maybe you're lucky $250,000 to $300,000. You're going to get maybe $2,200 a month, roughly. Okay, that's not everywhere. These are just general examples. Okay. So first thing you got to figure out is, okay, if I'm going to put 10 or 20% down, what's going to cover the mortgage? Well, under that $250,000, that's kind of your sweet spot that you could leverage into something, and your mortgage is going to be covered. Okay. Now, if you're going to pay all cash for something like that, then you're going to be going, well, what's my return on my investment? If I put $200,000 down, I want to see $20,000 a year come back, net profit. Okay, now that's tougher to do now these days. That's tougher to do. But in the beginning, anyways, when I start, all I really cared about is I got 20 grand making, not very much money in the bank. I'm going to sink it in. I'm going to buy a house, and if it covers the payment, that's okay, because even though I've got $20,000 invested, I've got this other $80,000 that I borrowed, okay? Mm-hmm. And now that's making another 8% on average per year, just generally. So I'm getting another $6,400 or a year, whatever that is, $6,400 a year in value, in equities growing every year on average. It's not a permanent deal. Now, so like we're in front of a house right now. And I'll let everybody see this. Okay, so over here, that's a house right over there. Okay. It doesn't even really matter what the house looks like. They're all the same to me.
Nice ranch.
Yeah, it's a good little ranch style home. And Okay, I think I paid $159,000 for that. I bought it about 10 years ago. It's not very nice inside. I could take you inside. It's got Formica countertops. It's kind of a shitty plan. The cabinets are okay. Everything's fairly decent. It's not great, and I'm not fixing it up. But look at this thing. It's on a half acre.
Yeah, that's a huge lot.
It's a beautiful lot. Now that's why I love this whole place.
Oak trees.
Yeah, tons of oaks. It's gorgeous.
100% stone.
Yeah, it's rock on 4 sides. That's good.
Okay.
See, that's a good thing Matt just brought up. See how there's stone? He sees stone on 2 sides, so he's kind of assuming that there's maybe more than that. And there is. It actually wraps all the way around. There actually might be siding on the very back.
Okay.
But you know, that's okay. You know, the bottom line is I bought this place. I probably put $20,000 down. It rented for more than enough to cover the mortgage at the time. But now what's happened is 10 years later, 12 years later, whatever exactly it is, well, it's no longer 100 and, you know, when I bought it for 160 or whatever I paid for it, it's probably worth close to 200 then. Well, last year and the year before it was pushing 400. Now it's pushing 500. Well, I was getting $1,200 a month when I rented it, when I bought it for 140. Now I'm getting $1,800 and it's worth damn near 500. So I'm losing a lot of money.
Yeah, it's appreciated by over double, but your rent has not kept up.
And that's what happens with houses in general, is the values go up and then they become a poor holding investment. So what I say is buy a house as cheap as you can get, but as in great a neighborhood as you can get, so that people will stay, people will, you know, pay, you know, make sure you got a good tenant. And then when the values go up, at some point you have to ask yourself, would I buy this? You know, and that's what I do. Would I pay $500 for this? Hell no. I wouldn't pay $400 for this, based on the return that it gives me. Now, I'd buy it for $400 if I could sell it for $500, sure. But that's what I would do. And so, like, that's what I did with this. Their lease expired, and it's like, you know, this no longer makes sense to hold, because I can take, let's just say I end up selling it for $450, which might happen. I sell it for $450. I'm going to go get, at a minimum, I'm going to buy something that gets me $4,500 a year income, or I'm sorry, $45,000 a year income, you know, at 10%. And so, and what I'd more than likely do is I'd take that $450 and I'd go buy a commercial property, and I'd put $450 down, and maybe I'd pay $1.2 million for it, and so, or $1,250,000 say. And so I'm going to borrow roughly $800,000, but I'm going to get 10% on my $450 that I put down, and then on the $800 that I borrow, $850 that I borrow, I'm going to pay about maybe 5% max, but I'm going to make 10% on the overall. So I'm going to make 5% on the $800, and I'm going to make 10% a year on the $450. So it's a great investment. Now I'm getting $90 out of a house right now that doesn't get me shit. It gets me, you know, I mean, it's paid for, and it gets, you know, whatever, maybe $2,000 a month. But, you know, it's just not enough. After taxes, it's just ridiculous. So
your money could be working harder.
Yeah. So what I do is you can, you know, if you find a house, buy a house and get a great deal. And, you know, you can flip it or you can hold it. Not everybody has time to just constantly look for property like I do. And so it makes sense, though, to get the best deal you can, and you can hold it. Because you know what? You sit on it, you hold it, and maybe 5 years goes by, or a couple of years, or 1 year, whatever you're, you know, not everybody has the same money situation, makes the same money. But all you got to do is buy a house like that once a year.
Yeah.
And by the time you got 5 of them, and, you know, 15 years goes by, and now they're starting to be paid off, and the other ones that aren't paid off, you know, are whatever, still have gone up in value. But, you know, you might have 10 houses that are worth $4 million. You know, that's kind of what I got around here. So in this neighborhood, there's a house I still own this house. So there's a ranch style here. There's a 2-story over here. There's 2 more up in front of here. I own all 4 of these. I sold this one to my right, and I try to let our audience see. There's one I own. I own this one back here. I own this one over here. That one with the little red car, I sold that about a year ago. The guys that follow me know that. Anyways, I sold that for, I think, $390. Again, I paid probably $150 for it. didn't make sense. I was getting almost $2,000 a month for it, but still, it's a terrible investment on $390. You know, and when I bought these houses, I intended these originally to be for my kids, and you guys can see this isn't an overly beautiful home, but it's not bad. I mean, I love ranch style homes, and I love trees, and I love lots, and I love big lots, and these are big lots.
So is there a preference between single or 2 stories for you? Or
I hate 2 stories. I don't like 2 stories. I hate 2 stories, especially, I mean, I'll take anything. Like I said, there is no bad deals. I mean, there is no bad property, just bad
everything's
deals.
worth money, and it's just a matter of finding a deal that will make you
if it's not worth at least 25-35% more than I'm paying for it, I don't buy it.
Okay.
And I'm not talking about buying a fixer-upper that's 30% under market, because it needs a lot of work.
Well, 2 stories have more mechanical usually, so you got two ACs you got to deal with.
Well, and there's a loss of space. You got a stairway in the damn thing.
It's like 600 square feet. You immediately
you lose
that.
that. And I mean, this is actually the perfect example of a really horrible way to place a property. They put this thing right square in the middle of a half-acre lot, and they made it a 2-story when they could have made it a single story. And so, yeah, you got a big yard all the way around you. I guess, I don't know. I don't like the placement of it at all. Which
so
actually,
a full 2-story, you're kind of losing a lot of square footage with that A-frame style.
Oh,
too.
it's horrible.
Yeah.
You go upstairs and your walls are leaning in on you. It's almost like an attic deal.
Yeah.
And you know, and it's funny. So I was buying up this neighborhood a long time ago, and you know, I actually got in some, I had some issues. People didn't like me buying up the place, and it started all out of jealousy of one guy, just upset that, you know, he was this guy that would sit on his hands forever, and he kept talking to a guy about buying this place, and then I talked to him one day, and I said, I'll take it, write it up, and I bought it. And then this guy was outraged that somebody come and took his deal, even though he'd been kicking the tires for a year. And yeah, so this is this is a beauty. Look at this. This kills me.
Oh my.
This thing here, this looked like a Better Homes and Garden place. I was buying that for $220,000, and that was about, I don't know, 5 or 6 years ago. She was the girlfriend of another guy down here. They both called me. They said, you know what, Tom, we know the neighborhood hates you. Well, the neighborhood doesn't hate me. Just a couple of pricks in the neighborhood hated me. And it was bullshit. But anyways, what happened was, they said, we don't care, and most people don't, but they said, we want to sell our place. And so I said, you know what, I looked at them both, I made a deal, I said, okay, I'll buy them both. $220. I bought them both for $220, I think. And we make the deal, and then she talked to her neighbor and says, oh yeah, we're selling our place. I'm selling it to Tom. Oh no, don't sell it to, you know, even though I'm not a bad guy, I hadn't done anything to anybody, improve every property I buy, but whatever. All started from the one cancer in the neighborhood that I mentioned. So what happens is, the neighbor says, oh, well, I'll buy it from you. So then she calls me and says, Tom, I'm gonna have to back out because, you know, Rosie, or whatever her name is, my neighbor, she wants to buy it now. And I said, what? And so I was so mad, and I let her know how mad I was, that it upset her boyfriend so much, he almost didn't sell me his place.
Oh, geez.
So I lose hers, and I go, you know what? I'm giving you a good deal on it. It was a decent deal, to be honest, but I felt really, it was such a beautiful home. You just can't imagine how nice it was. So I bought this one at the same time right here, okay? Which is gonna bring up a whole nother thing to talk to you guys about. So anyhow, deals fall apart, and it wasn't 3 weeks after that, I bought this thing, I bought another place. She calls back and she goes, Tom. I go, what? She backed out. She goes, yes. I go, I knew it. I said, I told you. I said, no, I don't get any damn money. And so I couldn't buy it, you know? And you can see why I'm pissed. That's right, we're $600,000.
Yeah,
But
beautiful home.
Yeah, it's beautiful. Okay, but you know, it's funny. We were talking about placement. This is real, and everybody should take note of this, because this is something most people would never see, but I'm going to show you. Okay, so look at how close this house is to the road, right? Yep. It's right here, okay? And these are giant lots, and this is on a corner.
At an intersection, yeah.
Yeah, well, but here's the beauty of that, is, let's go over here.
Wow, look at that.
Look at that fence, man. See how far back?
Yeah.
This is why this property had. This is why this property, even though it wasn't as good as the other one for 220, it was worth more. And I'll show you why. Check it out. That house. This is actually a 5/8 acre. Okay, this is a 5/8 acre lot, and it's enormous. Look at it, way back there, all the way over here. Okay, here's the deal. It's zoned SF2, which it's all different names in different areas. Okay, for what that means. But I'll tell you what it means to me. It means I can put one house one house per 10,000 square feet.
Yeah.
Okay, now that's available to every lot in here. Okay, well, but you saw the one.
But you can't tear the other ones down.
Yeah, well,
this one you can just build right on.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Matt's got it right off the bat. So what I go do is see that telephone pole, about to that next tree to the left of that telephone pole. I draw an imaginary line, and I subdivide this into two, basically 11,000 square foot lots.
Nice.
And then so this house, say, is worth 500, or just say it's worth 400,000. Okay. Even though I cut the lot in half, I'm still going to get $400,000 for this, because you don't get a big bonus for the lot.
Yeah.
Some people look at a lot as a nuisance, okay? But for me, I'm going to cut this thing in two. I'm going to sell the house for what I paid for it if I bought it today, and I'm going to take the lot, and now I got a lot that's worth $200,000. Yeah. So that's
nice.
This is the kind of thing that most people don't see.
Pay attention.
Yeah, and anyways,
placement is key.
Yeah, and so those are little things that you learn over time, and anyways, but that's going to be what's going to happen to that thing.
Wow,
so,
nice.
Do you have to factor in any expenses for running a separate set of utilities to the second lot at all, or is that?
You don't have to worry about any of it because you're going to sell it to somebody else.
Yeah.
But it's. I mean, if I've built too. Hey, I'm a builder. I haven't built in a while, but I mean, I still build. Anyways, yeah. This is another story. I don't even want to talk about this one. This one's kind of painful. Okay.
That looks like a new style, though, or a new. Oh, it is a new.
These.
New
So
homes.
yeah, look at this. Okay. It's hard to tell, but if you drive this road this road goes down here, and I own that house straight ahead too. It rolls around here, or I used to. I sold that one about 3 months ago. Anyways, this was another thing that people don't always see. If you can't really see it, folks, but this road comes from me here. It comes up, and then it goes like this. It's like a big circle. If you can imagine, it's just kind of like a big round A, okay, shape, the way it comes around. Well, here's the deal. It was 3 acres of land that went from this curb and gutter here all the way to the next street. The advantage of that is that I could subdivide this and chop it up like a pizza, because it's like almost round.
It's like a cul-de-sac.
Yeah, well, it's
you get that bigger piece of pie.
Well, it's kind of it's shaped like, the body of land is shaped like a cul-de-sac, okay? And all the properties would be within the cul-de-sac facing out to streets. So I had just bought a bar up the street, and I bought something else. I was broke, and I was about to make a deal, and I was getting this thing, and I was getting it for like $350. Then some agent got in the way, screwed things up. Now I'm buying it for $550,000. The bank had just dropped out. All that stuff was a giant mess, with just before when Bush was about to go. So, anyways, I'd already had this thing drawn, cut up like a pizza, but it was a really tough time. This was 2009. So I called a couple of people that I know, buddies, and I said, you know what? I hate to let this go, but man, if you want it, you can have it. They were broke. All the money froze up at that time. And even myself, I had just borrowed $3 million, and I was paying probably 5.5% interest on it. Within 2 months, because economists, man, they dropped the interest rates, prime. They dropped prime down to 0. Yeah. So now my loan that was 5.5% on $3 million was now 2.5%. So that 3% was saving me $90,000 a year in interest. And it was a good thing, because I was losing a little more than that on my other stuff that was going down going south.
Hemorrhaging.
And so here we are. So we're driving around the circle. Now this wasn't part of it here, but we're going to come up here. But you saw that other street we were on, that was part of it. And now we're going to come up here and let me think. You can see the saw cuts. This is part of it again. I think these two.
Where they cut the driveway.
Yeah, you see the saw cuts?
Yeah.
So if you guys don't know what a saw cut is, here, Tony, you can show them. A saw cut is that angled cut you see. You see that was a curb and gutter. They didn't pour it and round it that way. Here, I'll just give another quick show here real quick.
Sure.
I want you guys to understand this that are watching. It may not be so clear to you. Okay, so take a look here. This is a curb and gutter. You can see they poured the concrete, right? The concrete was poured to form. It was designed that way. That's how that was poured and done. Now look at this one. See, this was a curb that just went straight through. But what they did is it was just raw land here. So they cut it down flush and cut it back up. Okay? So that's what you call a curb cut. That's where you're adding a driveway after the fact. And that's what happens when you're subdividing a property that's already in existence. So anyhow, that's why I said this thing cut up like a pizza. All you had to do is do that curb cut, the utilities, the sewer, the water, all that stuff, the gas, it's already here in the streets. Yeah. So that $550,000 now has 15 homes that sell for about $600,000 or $700,000 on it. And to me, that means I probably could have got on average $250,000 a lot. So there's a couple $1 million. Okay, but I was too tapped, and I was trying to give it to my buddy that actually was doing this subdivision across the street here, and he was like, his was half empty. He's like, yeah, I'm just holding tight, because he was broke too. And so, and what was neat was, this was 3 acres that had a house on it with a tennis court, old tennis court, all grown over. In fact, what I did get out of this deal is they had a 1964 Chevy pickup sitting on it that I ended up buying from the owners. And the lady was a total battle axe. She was freaking horrible. She was 80 something, and everybody told me she was a horrible bitch. And guess what?
They were right.
That didn't tell half of it. She was worse. She was worse. Anyways, so here, just fun fact here. Over here, this is a building. Take a look at this building. When things were really in tough times here back in the 90s. Well, when I got here, I could have bought this 27,000 square foot building. Nobody was in it. I could have bought it for $400,000. The thing is worth about $7 million again, right there, because they're worth over $200 a foot. It's probably worth $250 a foot today. Things are going nuts, but it just wasn't finished out. In fact, there's a podiatrist, a foot doctor in there. I bought his house from him, and he rolled that money into buying his place there. And I think he bought 4,000 square feet for like damn near $800,000.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, I know. Yeah, so and here's the other thing everybody needs to know. There's always a deal. There's always a deal. And I try to make this clear to everybody. There's always a divorce, a death, a dumb decision, a disaster. It's all D's too. It's all these things happen in life that cause deals to come about. And when I say death, I'm talking about retirement. There's nothing squandered, more squandered wealth in I said retirement, I'm sorry, in what's the word I'm looking for? Inheritance.
Inheritance?
Yeah, inheritance. I've bought properties that, somebody inherits a property and they go, oh great, free money. And they don't give it the due diligence to look at it.
Yeah.
So you end up buying, I bought a lake house, right, worth, $300,000 or $400,000. I got it for $80,000. I bought 50 acres out in Leander. It's got 180 homes on it now. I bought it for $205,000. I sold it for almost $3 million. And so
do you market, Tom, or do you just, you look at, Google? How do you, all of the above, when you're looking for stuff, word of mouth?
send out those letters that I buy houses?
You'll have to buy my book.
Okay.
Disclaimer.
Disclaimer.
Yeah. No. Everybody knows who's watching. I already got a free app. And if you have the app, FlipAnything, get it on Google, get it on the iPhone store, whatever it is. Okay. And I think it's 99 cents. So anybody wants to bitch about that, just don't buy it. I don't care. But anyways, the app is cool and the app is free if it's Android. But in the book, I got a book. I keep telling you guys I'm going to have it published, but it's actually this close now. We're going to do a big thing and start taking pre-orders, and I'll have it ready in about 2 months. But anyways, to answer your question, because I share it all anyways, but you will like to have it in a book, I'm sure.
Yeah, cool.
But you can just see, look, my eyes are open. I drive by a lot. I see a house way close to the front. I'm going, hell, I can cut that into 2. You know what I mean?
Details,
I drive by, I see the shades, the louvers. Everybody's got louvers in their windows now. Well, they're torn to shit. Well, I go, well, either somebody lives there and doesn't care, or this is a tenant that's tearing the shit out of the house. And so, hey, I'm going to find out who owns that.
And you can do that with yards, too. If something's overgrown, trees are unkempt.
Well, true, but you know what? Me and my dad, we had a house like that. We had a camper shell sitting in the front yard that was acting as a greenhouse for me.
Okay.
And anyways,
that's another.
Yeah, that's for another subject. Yeah. Anyways, so it doesn't always mean it's for sale.
But it's a possible opportunity.
Yeah, no, but that's the difference. Is you go over and look. You go over and knock on the door. Okay. You know what? When I drive by and I'm looking for properties, I'm always looking. Everywhere I'm always looking. For sale sign makes me stop in my tracks, and I call. Because I want to know what it's worth. I want to know what they're asking. And sometimes they'll give me a price. I'm going, shit, that's a great deal. I didn't have to think about it. Let's make a deal. I'll buy it. Okay? Sometimes I go, that's too much. But you know what? Let's give them some time to break down and lower the price. And so that comes to mind. And actually, kind of, we're making the case here. So look, this is area that's kind of near my home where we're just at. We passed already several buildings that I own, and several houses that I already just showed you guys. Okay, so now we're going down a corridor. Okay, so this corridor that we're going down now, we already passed one building that I own, and we're gonna go buy some others. Okay, and I have what I describe to people as a real estate barbell, and what that means is because I'm always around my neighborhood where I live, I buy stuff around that, which is kind of a circle. Then I go down this corridor and I see stuff I'm interested in, usually commercial, and I buy up stuff along the corridor. Then, when I get to where my office is, where I work, I start buying up around my office, because that's where I work. I'm there more often. So it ends up becoming another circle. But it's kind of like a bar, and like a weight on each end. It's just 2 circles, meaning the properties and then the corridor in between. So those are things that I do, and I don't want to jump around too much. If you just want to just talk about houses, we can do more house stuff. We're heading towards houses.
I've got some residential properties that I'm looking to eventually turn into commercial investments.
So where are they at on the financial? What'd you pay for them?
They've about almost appreciated at double what I paid for them.
Right, but if you paid 100, or they were 200, or just trying to guess.
Yeah, they're anywhere between 100 and 200, and they.
Okay.
Yeah.
Oh.
So one was 120. It's now probably worth close to double that.
Oh.
One was about 180.
And what did the rents do?
The 120, I'm getting about $1,600 a month as a single story, and the 180 is about $1,750 a month.
Oh, okay.
On the original investments.
Right, and so, but your rents aren't going up as fast as the.
Yeah, right? Yeah. The rents have been pretty stagnant over the past few years.
Gotcha. Okay.
Even though the property taxes and everything else and valuations are going up quite a bit.
Right. So you're where I am with my stuff, where I just go, would I pay that? So you wouldn't pay for what you can sell it for, correct?
Correct.
All right. So it's time to sell, probably. But the problem is you got to find something to put it into.
Right.
Which is hard.
And then I'm kind of wondering about tax penalties if I do that. I've heard something about maybe 1031s or something along those lines.
Sure.
Temporarily.
Yeah. Yep. And I just finished a 1031. I was unable to spend all the money that I had in the account, so I had to take out the last 150 or 175, whatever it was. And now I'm going to get dinged on that. I'm going to pay 20% roughly on that. It would be 15%, but we got an Obama tax. It's I think 4% now for it's still in effect. So it's roughly 20%. But if you sell something within a year, then you got what we call short-term capital gains, and you pay about double. You pay 30 plus. I think you get dinged again that other 4%. So I cut over here just because this is another area. Like I own this center over here on the right, and
that was the one with the double water meter, right?
Yeah. And I try not to talk about exactly what town we're in, but so we'll be a little bit vague on that. But because it doesn't matter. I buy in a lot of different properties, a lot of different areas in the states, everything else. But again, you know, this was a great deal that I was just the first one there. And yeah, this ended up turning into the water meter debacle. And then
it's like it's 100% full too.
Oh, it is. It's full, man. And see, I like holding. Oh man, what's going on? There's something new.
See a for sale sign?
I did. I'll tell you what. I did see a for sale sign here, right where you see this here, and I was in contract to buy this property. Now, folks, this is actually interesting. This is what we call a flag lot. So just imagine a flag, you know, like this, okay? A long pole, and then the flag. We're at the bottom of this pole right now.
And that's where the main road is down here.
Yeah, so we're going down this road, and then we're going to, boom, reveal a flag, the main body of the property. So I'll give you guys a look here. So this is the property, it's just this road, okay? So we're going to go up this road, and I saw the for sale sign the day it went up. Somebody was already made an offer on it, was sitting on the guy's desk, and I said, what's the deal? And he goes, well, he goes, it's probably gonna be gone here. And I go, oh man, and now I'm probably gonna be depressed that I didn't buy it again. Anyways, that's the entry into the property. I'm not even gonna go in, but you can see how it all of a sudden opens up here on the left. All this property. This guy put in a car lot, apparently. Anyways, and now I'm a little more upset that I didn't buy it again. I haven't looked at it since I passed on it. But anyways, not a big deal. It's just I was buying this thing for $749,000, and I was paying cash, and it had a 2,000 square foot building you see back there, but it's kind of a, you know, it's got its utility. The utility is it's good for cars and automotive. And you can see over here, this doesn't look particularly pretty, but that's not what it's about. Every property's, anyways, buying for $749, I thought, man, I can do better. And I said, you know what? I said, how about, you know, I tried to negotiate it down a little bit. They were open for it. There's some other little issues because they had storage on there. I don't want to get into all the details of it, but the bottom line is I let it go. And then I couldn't find anything quite as good, to be honest, and I was a little frustrated because it would have saved me some of that. You know, I just got a little bit greedy maybe, but you know, no regrets. Now I'm going to show you. I'll show you what I bought instead of this, and I'm going to do fine. I'm going to make money on it. But my safe, what I go to is I go to buy houses when I don't have. You know, if I don't have when I'm under the pressure of a 1031, you have to identify the property you're going to buy within 45 days. Well, that's tough. You can't just find a deal in 45 days. Now, I found that, and it was like a pretty decent deal. Not exactly what I wanted, but I still didn't do as good after I passed that up. So, my mistake. It's going to happen.
So you bring up something that I was always taught. Where you really make the money is in the purchase.
Yeah, you always make it. That's where you should make it.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm not a speculator, and that's my hedge. So Matt's making a good point. That is, yeah, I make my money the day I buy it. I can sell it for more. I mean, that's what opened my eyes to real estate. And if you guys watch my earliest video, you see that I was 19 years old and I bought a building. You know, they gave me a 6-month escrow. I got to move into it. I didn't have to make a payment for 6 months. That's how I saved the 10 grand to buy the thing. And it was owner carried. And so that opened my eyes to owner carried too, because I was 19, I had hair down to my shoulders, my eyes were bloodshot because I had allergies, and I looked like I was high, even though I wasn't. And so now we're over at this little food trailer park. This is another property I bought a long time ago. So you can see the food park behind me.
Yeah.
And this is an old school. This is an old elementary school you see right here. So I'll just drive around here. This is an old elementary school. These were classrooms at one time over here. And I just got my ideas for a beer garden shut down today. I was thinking about putting a beer garden and serving beer out that corner, and then having this huge lot that I also own. It's all part of it. This was the schoolyard. I think it's shut down. I don't know if it's shut down, but I don't want to deal with it today. Although I was told that there's potentially a high-rise going over here that's been okay. So that will be good for me.
Would have been good for a beer garden too.
Yeah, it'd be good for, exactly. Well, I'm not done with it. I can still open a bar here, but I really just wanted a beer garden. I just wanted to have another trailer park is what I wanted.
Can you put the beer garden on the rooftop?
Yeah, that'd be slick. Yeah. Anyways, so you guys can see, again, this is taking a piece of this asset, a prime corner. The guys I beat out on this property were wanting to put a Walgreens here. And anyways, I got it. This is like 12 years ago probably. But anyways, so now, I've got, 6 trailers over there, 5 or 6 trailers, and I'm getting some income out of that I wouldn't get otherwise. And it's easy income.
Cash.
Yeah, well, it's not cash, but it's just money I wouldn't be getting out of here otherwise, because all it costs me though is utilities, so electricity and water, and they're self-contained. It's kind of a piece of cake for me. So
utilize the property that you have in any way you can.
Yeah, and know it, and I could have done this 8-10 years ago. And I remember a guy offering me $1,500 a month to park one trailer there a long time ago.
Oh my God.
Wow.
Yeah. And I mean, I charge half that or less than half that for these guys. But once they get established, I told them my goal was to get $1,000 a trailer. But it's not there yet. So what I'm going to show you guys, I'm going to show you a neighborhood that I actually don't own anything in. But I'm looking at buying in this area. And the thing with this deal that I'm going to show you here is sometimes there's diamonds in the rough, and this is kind of one of those properties. The prices aren't that high, but people aren't aware of the amenities that are there. This thing has got decent little houses, decent lot sizes, but it's also, people don't realize it's right next to like what's kind of like a major green belt. There's like a little river, you can fish. I mean, you can fish in this creek, you can go running, riding bikes, there's enormous soccer fields, and we won't name the place, you guys are gonna know when we see it, but...
Don't shout it out when we see it?
Yeah, don't shout it out when you see it. Because I'm looking at buying in this place.
I've actually looked in this neighborhood before.
Yeah, and but you'll see what I'm going to show you here. You probably don't know, and I almost don't recognize this place because I haven't been down here in so long.
Are you looking for the stoplight right here to shoot back?
Yeah, let me see. Yeah, no, I'm on track. Yeah, next street.
Sorry, I didn't want to
this
say
is
the
all
street
new on
name,
my right. I haven't been here in a while. So we're going into a little neighborhood that's been here forever. Also, this road that we're on right now, this is a major thoroughfare, okay? This used to be a dead end. And so when I bought that school property, it really wasn't, I mean, they had just opened this up, but this is connecting 2 major highways. So it became a highway in itself. And so all of a sudden the traffic count went up, and they made everything on that street worth more. And so I knew that had just happened, and so I was taking advantage of that. So
decent lot size.
Yeah, this is the place, man. This is
entry-level homes.
I'm telling you guys, look here.
Okay.
Okay? In fact, you guys ought to snap a picture. Oh, it says pending. That's great. I would snap a picture of this. And no, not with my camera. Not with my camera, your camera.
Oh, I see that.
Yeah.
Sorry.
No, seriously, take a picture of it so you can look at buying it. Or you can give me the photo, I might buy it. Now, you might, yeah.
That's right. Got it.
You sure you're getting, I don't see the number. There you maybe you get it.
Well, I got the name of the nest.
You can shoot. Actually, you can shoot a picture right here in the window, in the mirror. Let's see if you wanted to.
Oh, yeah, there you go. Got it.
Okay, so I gotta get his power back on here. So never be discouraged. It says pending. That doesn't mean nothing.
I'll call it on one of my houses.
Oh, nice. So anyway, I'm gonna give his power, cut his off. Anyways, when you see a pending sign, call on it. You want to get in the second position. Talk to the agent, see if you can dig and figure out what it's sold for, what they're asking for. Because you may just find out. Let's say you're in a $200,000 area, and you call on it, and you go, hey, I'd like to be interested in buying that. And they'd say, oh, well, it's already sold. Well, it probably sold because it sold too cheap.
Right.
It's because it sold like that. That's an indication that it was under market. So you call on it, you say, oh, really? What's the deal? And so it sold for that? And they go, yeah, it sold for, they'll tell you, yeah, it's sold for full price. Or, they'll give you that kind of information a little bit. So what you do is say, well, I want to put a backup offer. I really want it. I got to have it. I want to buy it. And you get yourself in the second position. And so you make an offer that's contingent on it falling out. Because things fall out. Just like the guy that got the property that I just let go. So
the shutters on this house were torn.
Yeah.
So we go knock on it?
No, this is actually, yeah, this here, okay. This kind of looks like me and my dad's house when I was a kid. Okay, but maybe not quite that bad. But I'm guessing that guy owns the place and he just doesn't give a damn.
Yeah.
But still, doesn't hurt. Call him, shake his hand, talk to him, give him your card, say, hey, call me if you ever change your mind. That's the other thing. Make friends with everybody you meet and talk to, and make sure they have your number.
And say, do you have a card you give them and say, hey?
Yeah,
I'll buy the book.
I used to, yeah, I give them a card. For one of my companies, I give them a card, write my cell number on it if it's not already on there. So, anyhow, back to the subject of coming in here. I'm here to show you some amenities that aren't obvious to this neighborhood that we just drove through. And also, there's a for rent sign. I call on for rent signs too. If it's empty, that's an opportunity for the seller to sell the place.
So that's a duplex.
Yeah. So if it's for rent, that means, hey, the guy may say, you know what? And maybe it's the third time he rented it this year or whatever. He might have some reason for wanting to get rid of it. So now, look, we just drove to the far corner of this subdivision, and we kind of wiggled through here, kind of amazed to get back here. And now look at what we're looking at. Yeah. Oh, I don't think that's too descriptive. But you can see, yeah. You can see we got a
green belt.
A nice little green belt and a creek, and look at that. Actually, let's just get out. Check it out, guys. Okay, so look, here's these houses, and now look at this thing. Look what we got out here.
Guess this thing be back here?
That's right. You don't even know it's here. So look at this. There's ducks. There's ducks. I mean, this is nature, man.
Little crane over there.
And yeah, look at that. You see that? There's a crane across the water there. See it over there? I'm gonna throw a rock at it, make it jump. No, I'm kidding. No, but so just think for you just had kids. Your kids could come down here, throw rocks, play, fish. You got all this, and then you can see this trail. It goes around here, and guess what? It takes you to, another 40 acres of this kind of stuff. There's ballparks, soccer fields. There's all kinds of stuff that's right here that people don't know it's here. And so these are some of the kinds of amenities that people don't recognize are there, especially when things develop and grow. Now, this is a cool little amenity for sure, but this could just as easily be a new shopping center that has a theater, restaurants, and a bar. I mean, who doesn't want to be able to walk to a bar and have a drink, and if you have too much, you can walk home. You know what I mean? Or just get off work and walk a mile to have a pizza with your kids, and walk back. So
schools, Tom, or anything like that?
Well, schools are another thing that drive purchases.
Okay.
And I can't say I know what the school district is here, but anyways.
All kinds of amenities and.
Yeah, and I mean it can be different. It can be, like I say, it could be, this happens to be nature, but there's
we're back.
Yeah, we're back. So the minute we've been gone for 10 seconds.
We purchased 2 properties while we were gone.
Yep, already made some money. So, but that's just another aspect of looking at things, is that there are things sitting right there in front of you that you don't even realize they're there. Okay. And again, duplexes, that used to be, see, here's the problem with duplexes. See this crap in the front yard? Okay, now look over here. Another thing, crap in the front yard, because that's kind of what happens. People move out, and sometimes you got tenants that aren't the best tenants, but that's part of it. That's part of it sometimes.
So are duplexes more like commercial properties where the values don't fluctuate as much as the single?
No,
families?
But again, awesome question. Okay. Yeah, multifamily. I consider that multifamily, right? Duplexes don't jump in value like homes can, because homes are an emotional purchase. People will pay much more per foot for a home than they will for a commercial piece of property, because I want my kid to go to that school, it's near my mom, it's these different things that drive. Jeez, what's the speed limit here? I'm afraid. Got a black and white behind me.
Yeah, he's been pulling people over.
It's 40.
Is it 40? Good, because I'm going 31. Oh shit, and he's pulling me over. Alright. Well, I'm getting a ticket for not having a bumper or not a bumper, but a license plate on the front of my car, which I didn't know I needed to have one. And I bought this car new. Let's see. Unless I got that extra plate and I thought, oh, this is a spare. I don't know. But
so amenities,
yeah,
lots of different things to look at.
Yeah, like I said, it's
lot placements.
Yeah,
all
so
kinds
you
of
got
good stuff
size of the lot. If you can cut it in two, and then if you can find a house that's on a lot where they put it one too far in the front, or one way or another, where you can actually do a split and the setbacks, because you got to have 20 feet back from certain lines and that sort of thing. Well, you got it made. You cut the lot in half, because people don't understand. Sometimes they think, oh, like even on land, I buy and sell a lot of land. So I get land for 1.25 acres and 2.5 acres, and 2.5 acres doesn't sell for twice as much as 1.25. It's just a little bit more. But you can go buy the 2.5 acres and split it, and you'll sell 2.25 acres for almost as much what you paid for the 2.5. So there's a lot of opportunities like that, and and now I got to go screw with this car thing. Oh, well. Anyways, but there's stuff like that. God, there's cops everywhere. I've got 2 motorcycle cops, and I got another one right in front of me.
You just got some.
I give you 2 warnings for the. It's called unregistered vehicle. You just have to display your registration on the front, and no license plate. You got to get a license plate on the front too.
That's awesome. So it's just a warning, not going to cost me
Both
nothing?
warnings, 2 warnings.
That's awesome.
Thank you,
man.
sir.
Thank you.
Y'all need to get that taken care of.
I absolutely will. Thank you very much.
You will get pulled over. A trooper is going to pull you over for no reason, other than not having a plate and definitely not having a registration sticker.
Okay.
Wow.
You got tolls now, and they look at that front plate.
Can I hit OK here?
Sure.
Awesome.
All right, let me print out for you. Right back.
All right.
And get your correct insurance card, Paul.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
So
Good
this
job.
cop's awesome. Yeah.
Okay.
Nice guy. He just gave me warnings. I got to put the warning sticker in the window so if I get pulled over.
Yeah. There you go. Just tape it to your front bumper.
Yeah. There you go.
That's funny.
Drive safe.
All right. Thank you very
sir.
much. Yes, sir.
Careful. All right. Well, we learned some stuff non-real estate too.
Yeah.
Must display a front license plate.
Oh my gosh.
Careful, you gotta have your registration on your windshield.
So do you look at properties that are along the main road here and that are residential and possible conversion to commercial?
I do, and I bought 4 of them on that road we were just at when we started on. And they can be cool and they can be worked. If you're gonna buy one, like he's talking about, we're on a busy 5-lane road, really, if you count the center lane, and there's houses off to the right. These neighborhoods are not going to cooperate with you. If you try to make this commercial on one of these corners, like these ones that you see us passing here, the answer is like always, not just no, but it's hell no. And it's because they're afraid you're creeping the commercial into their neighborhood. Okay? Now, I've done it. I've rezoned like that. But man, it's a bitch. And if you're not, I mean, a lot of people just don't care. But it only takes one jerk that cares to make everything spoiled. Because he'll go down to the council meeting and he'll call himself I like to call these guys the sheriff of the neighborhood, because that's what they want to be. But they'll go up there and they'll say, I represent the so-and-so association. It's just a name he made up. But now it sounds like he represents everybody on the block, and he doesn't. Okay. And so those guys can be difficult to fight. And a lot of times these guys are actually looking to get paid off to go away. But some are just retired, they got nothing to do, and they're just busybodies. But like, see, here's a house there's one that is, okay?
Yeah, I'm
and
seeing
here's
several
another
of these
one
along the way that have been.
But they don't look like they're in part of a main subdivision, or when it was subdivided. Like the one that I got rezoned, it was actually set out with a couple others that were along the street that said it basically may be used commercially. May. So I had to just make the case why it should be allowed, and they agreed with me.
Oh.
But man, did I get some fierce opposition. And I ended up actually suing one of those guys about a year later, just because he wouldn't stop pestering me on all my stuff. But so anyways, but yeah, so that's a good one on the houses.
Okay.
Let's see.
There's a lot of good information.
Yeah, it's interesting, but and it's about time to head back, I guess. But but that's probably with the real estate, with the residential stuff. We kind of covered a lot there. Mm-hmm. You know, the other thing, as far as looking for deals, when you see a garage sale sign, pull over.
Yeah.
And go right into the garage and say, hey, who owns this place? Because garage sales mean somebody's moving.
Even estate sales sometimes too.
Estate sales too. Love estate sales. Yeah, absolutely.
That's usually, like you said, the catastrophic, like a death.
Somebody's dead. Yeah, somebody's dead. And garage sales, somebody's getting a divorce sometimes. Yeah. You know, so. But yeah, garage sales that's a sign that people just often overlook. And you know, you go in there and you know, you find out, well, is somebody moving, and they'll either say, well, yeah, we're moving. Here's our landlord's card. Well, I'll call the landlord because they just moved out. Maybe he's been wanting to sell it and just waiting for them to move out. And so now that's his opportunity. Or maybe it's the owner. In fact, I didn't show you. I got another one. I forgot to take you to another neighborhood where I just bought several. You want to go look at it, or you got time or not? I don't want to keep you guys. It's 2:30.
I don't. If you can drop me off.
Yeah.
Thank you, though.
Yeah, it's Cedar Park. But anyways, edit that. But anyway, it's basically what we just looked at.
Okay.
And it was kind of, I'm just making the same amenity type thing. But the house I just closed a week ago, I paid $250 cash, and the owners. Again, it didn't have a pending sign on it. What it had is a coming soon sign. So when it says coming soon, just beat down the door till you get a hold of the owner and make a deal. Because everybody else is waiting. Oh, I'm just going to wait for that for sale sign to come up. Well, it's never going to come up if I'm in the neighborhood, because I'm going to get it, and you're just going to see it go from coming soon to sold, and that's what's going to happen.
you try and deal without a realtor?
Yeah, I mean, I would never bring a realtor into a deal.
Okay.
Never, you know. So ideally, in fact, that's part of your pitch is you say, hey, let's just make a deal. There's no real estate agent. There's no commission to pay. We both save money.
Okay.
And so, and really the burden is on the seller with the commission. So he saves money.
Okay.
So
yeah, you're making money right there.
yeah, yeah. So in fact, the house that I bought that I'm still living in, I bought 28 years ago. I don't even know how long it's been now. I saw a little old lady and a little old man walking from their car to the mailbox. And this is a beautiful property I have. And I go, man, they look like they're ready to sell. They're like in their 80s. And I just walked straight to them and said, hey, how you doing? Introduced myself. And I said, hey, would you ever be interested in selling your property? And they go, as a matter of fact, we are. And they said, come back tomorrow and we'll talk. Well, we came back and we sat down and they said, well, let's make a deal. And he says, well, let me go talk to my realtor. And I was like, no. And so, but he did. He went and talked to a couple of realtors and he came back and he said, well, the realtor said we can get 200 and maybe 10,000, I think. Probably 210, maybe it's 220. And I'm like, that's fine. I was fine. That was no problem. I want it. And so this is, like I said, about 25, 28 years ago. But I was nervous waiting for him to come up with the price. Well, when he came back and he said, well, I want 220,000 for it. I go, well, hey, since that's what the agent, I said, what do you say we split the difference on the 6%? Because you're going to save 6%. So we took 3% off that price. We took another, whatever, $6,000, $7,000 off, and I bought it for $7,000 off. That's what it was. We took $7,500 off 220 because I bought it for $212.50.
Okay.
And it was a great deal. It was fantastic.
Yeah.
It was a nice big property, and several acres. And so those are the things. It's just taking that extra step, knocking on the door, calling on the sign, stopping at the garage sale, calling the agent that says it's sold already, because it's nothing sold till it's sold. Right. Those are the things that kind of set you apart from everybody else as an investor.
Okay.
That's aggressive and going after it. Okay. And then I think we talked about the buying 200 like at this time, buying anything close to 200 or 250, you're going to be able to. If you put 20% down, you're going to be able to cover the mortgage and then some. Because interest rates are so cheap. I don't know what you guys paid for your first house and your interest rate, but I paid 9 1/8.
Yeah.
And that was a deal at the time.
Yeah.
That's double what I'd pay today if I borrowed money.
Oh,
for a
yeah,
house.
absolutely.
So. But anyways, anything else you guys can think of? Or?
Man, that was a lot of good information. I don't have anything right now, but yeah, it was fantastic.
Okay.
Fantastic.
Right on, man.
Thanks for sharing.
Well, thanks. Well, I'll see you guys in the gym tomorrow, I guess.
All
But
right.
Right on, man. Thanks,
Tom.
Yeah,
Thanks, Tom.
Appreciate it.
Thanks, Tony.
Thanks, everybody, for following along.
Yep. Thanks everybody. So be sure to share and subscribe and, whatever.
Get the book.
Yeah, get the book when the book's ready. Thanks.
Thanks for Officer Johnson.
Yeah, and thanks. Yeah, we got lucky with the policeman. That was really cool. Well, I hope you enjoyed that video. I enjoy sharing it with you. So be sure to get the app. If you don't have it already, you can get it free on Android or pay $20 to get it on iOS. Do the best money you ever spent. It'll take you further along. You'll be able to share and catalog your properties, and it'll just make you a better, more organized investor. Thanks for watching.